Incursion after incursion in the disputed waters of the West Philippine Sea. Last March 2021, at least 258 Chinese vessels were spotted along the disputed Julian Felipe Reef. An escalation from last December 2020 when satellite images revealed that there were newly constructed naval bases in the SPRATLYS Islands, also in the West Philippine Sea. These tensions were made more real when on April 13, Shiara Zambrano, a correspondent of ABS-CBN and her crew, went to AYUNGIN SHOAL to report on the illegal military incursions of the Chinese in the area. As soon as they were closing in on the shoal, Chinese ships armed with missiles started chasing their crew, prompting them to flee for safety. Sa kabila ng mga dokumento at kasunduan na nagpapatunay ng karapatan ng Pilipinas sa mga teritoryong ito, nananatiling mainit pa rin ang tensyon sa West Philippine Sea. Kaya, ang tanong, ano nga ba ang sitwasyon pagdating sa usapin ng pinag-aagawang teritoryo? At ano ang epekto nito sa karaniwang Pilipino? Ako po si Pablo Joaquin, ang inyong lingkod, and you're watching The Breakdown. Nauna ang China noong 2014 sa pag-angkin ng halos 80% ng nasasabing teritoryo dulot ng kanilang historical claims at ng di umanong 9-dash line. Iginiit ng Chinese government na kasama umano sa kanilang 9-dash line ang PARACEL at SPRATLYS Islands ayon sa kanilang mapa noong 1947. But this claim is still very unclear because it lacks specific coordinates and whether or not it covers only land territories or all territorial waters. Ang agresibong pag-angkin ng China sa mga teritoryo at mga likas na yaman nito na nasa loob ng Exclusive Economic Zone ng Pilipinas o EEZ ay bahagi raw ng kanilang expansionism na nakaangkla sa proyektong Belt and Road Initiative or BRI. Dahil sa BRI, maraming bansa ang umuutang sa China. Ngunit, dahil sa sobrang taas na interest rates nito, marami sa kanila ang hindi nakakabayad. Bilang resulta sa pagkabaon sa utang na pepuwersa ang mga bansang ito na ibigay ang kanilang mga susing infrastruktura bilang kolateral sa pambayad sa China. Ang konseptong ito ay tinatawag na debt trap diplomacy. Ang debt trap diplomacy ay ang pagpapautang sa mga bansang mayroong high debt to GDP ratio o mga bansang may mahinang kakayahan upang mabayaran ang kanilang inuutang. Bilang kolateral, maaaring mapasakamay sa China ang mga strategic assets tulad ng mga ports. Nagsilbing isang cautionary tale ng debt trap diplomacy ang Sri Lanka matapos makuha ng China ang kanilang Hambantota port. Sa nakaraang taon, mas tumindi pa ang pag-exploit ng China sa mga likas na yaman sa loob ng Exclusive Economic Zone ng Pilipinas. Ayon sa mga huling report, mahigit kumulang 240,000 kilograms or 260 tonelada ng isda ang nahuli ng mga Chinese vessels sa ating mga katubigan sa loob lamang ng 4 na araw. Halos 800 billion pesos naman ang estimated na halaga ng pagkasira sa area na ito sa loob ng 7 taong presensya ng Chinese vessels dito. Specifically, the damage on coral reefs blew up to 231 billion while on the looted fishes estimates up to 664 billion. Gayon din, nanganganib ang trabaho ng 600,000 na Pilipinong mangingisda dulot nito. Higit pa rito, nararanasan ng mga Pilipinong mangingisda ang pambubuli o panghaharas ng mga Chinese vessels sa kanilang pangingisda sa disputed areas. May ilang insidente kung saan hinabol ng mga armadong Chinese personnel ang mga Pilipinong mangingisda papalayo sa West Philippine Sea na nasa EEZ ng Pilipinas. Matatandaan din na noong 2019, nabangga ng isang Chinese vessel ang Philippine vessel na Gemver 1. Dahilan upang ito ay lumubog at maiwan ang 22 Pilipinong mangingisda sa gitna ng karagatan na kalaunay ni-rescue ng isang Vietnamese fishing vessel. As far as the international law is concerned, ano nga ba ang mga karapatan ng Pilipinas sa nasasabing teritoryo. Noong 1994, ang United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea or UNCLOS kasama ang mahigit 60 na bansa ang nag-ratify ng defined territorial waters, continental shelves at exclusive economic zones. Subalit, ang unang dispute ng China at ng Pilipinas ay nangyari mahigit 1 taon pagkatapos ng pagratipika ng UNCLOS. Taong 1995, ang Pilipinas ay nag-file ng kanilang unang complaint matapos matuklasan na ang China ay nagtatayo daw ng stilt huts sa Mischief Reef para daw sa kanilang mangingisda. At sa taong 1997, sa Scarborough Shoal, nakapagtala ang Philippine Coast Guard ng maraming Chinese detainees dahil sa di umanong illegal na pangingisda sa ating teritoryo. Noong 2013 naman, nagsampa ang Pilipinas ng formal na complaint sa UNCLOS laban sa China. Nagtagal ang arbitration ng kaso mula 2013 to 2016 at noong July 12, 2016, pinaboran ang Pilipinas sa Arbitral Tribunal ruling base sa desisyon ng UNCLOS. Nakasaad na the tribunal concluded that there was no legal basis for China to claim historic rights to resources within the sea areas falling within the 9-dash line. Ang ruling rin na ito ay nakatulong sa iba pang claimant countries tulad ng Taiwan, Malaysia, Vietnam, Japan at Brunei. Binigyang atensyon din ng ruling ang mga unlawful activities ng China sa mga pinag-aagawang teritoryo tulad ng paglabag sa sovereign rights ng Pilipinas sa loob ng kanyang exclusive economic zone, ang pagdulot ng pinsala sa natural resources at ecosystem sa nasasabing area, at ang pagpatuloy ng kanilang land reclamations habang nagaganap ang legal proceedings. Ngunit, kahit nanggaling na sa UNCLOS mismo ang ruling, hindi pa rin ito kinikilala at sinusunod ng China. Nagsama-sama rin ang ilang Western countries upang kondenahin ang mga illegal at maling gawain ng China laban sa mga claimant countries. Kamakailan lamang, ang US Aircraft Carrier Strike Group na pinamumunuan ng USS Theodore Roosevelt at French Navy kasama ang Royal Australian Navy ay pumasok sa teritoryo ng West Philippine Sea o South China Sea upang tapatan ang pambubuli ng China. Naglabas rin ng statement ang European Union na mariing kinukondena ang presensya ng mga Chinese vessel or militia sa Whitsun Reef at dapat raw mapanatili ang pagsunod at pagrespeto sa international law, lalong-lalo na sa UNCLOS. Kung inaasahang gagamitin ng Pilipinas ang mga ruling na ito sa kanyang advantage, hindi ito ang kaso ngayon. Unsurprisingly, President Duterte and his administration has been very inconsistent with their stance on China and the West Philippine Sea. Umabot na sa punto na iilang mga liderato ng Armed Forces of the Philippines ay vocal sa pagpipinta sa China bilang isang external security threat. According to Strat-based ADR Institute fellow Professor Richard Haydarian, what we have is a spontaneous two-level balancing strategy where there is no centralized power shaping our foreign policy, particularly towards China. But instead, there are multiple veto players on the decision-making table. This is especially true in the current administration's foreign policies shift from Western reliance to Chinese reliance. However, compared to other countries, President Duterte's assumption that perceived action on the issue or anything against China, such as a protest, would lead to war, is simply untrue. In fact, leaders of other ASEAN countries have openly addressed Chinese aggravations using whatever means available to them. Aside from filing formal complaints, countries like Indonesia and Vietnam have deployed their navy to assert their rights in these disputed areas. Quoting former Foreign Secretary Albert Del Rosario, "It is but right that our leaders do whatever is necessary to address this open and continuing insult to Filipinos. The same should be expected from our government in protecting our lands and seas." Subalit, ang mga namumuno mismo ng ating gobyerno ay may iba't ibang tindig tungkol sa issue na ito. Nagpahayag si Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. na kinakailangan natin panindigan ang ating karapatan sa teritoryong ito. In fact, even describing the Hague ruling as a non-negotiable. Ito ay sa kabila ng binanggit ni Pangulong Duterte na gera lang ang posible makakapag-assert ng ating soberanya sa West Philippine Sea, recently remarking that the Hague ruling is just a piece of paper. Despite the president's take on the issue, 11 senators still remained and pushed through with Senate Resolution 708, or a resolution standing by the UNCLOS. This proposed resolution stands by the UNCLOS ruling with the goal of having the entirety of the Senate to gravely condemn the activities of China in the area, which they insist are in contempt of the UNCLOS decision. In any case, there are multiple reasons behind this administration's pivot from the United States to China. To name a few, one is the ideological and strategic considerations favoring China. Another can be the fear of personal sanctions from the United States and the West or the European Union over his human rights violations. In all of this, what is baffling are his inconsistent statements with regards to the issue. While President Duterte condemns the harassment of our fisher folks in the area, his administration, however, has neglected the aggressive reclamation of Beijing in our seas. In any case, this is still a developing story and we should keep an eye out for it as the situation is still very fluid. But nevertheless, the issue should still be taken seriously. This invasion of our territories shouldn't be ignored when they're just at our front door. They are here and they're near. From the increasing presence of Pogos to being in debt to China and even the disrespect to our sovereignty, the fact is our independence is under attack and it affects everyone. Issues like economic debt, foreign favored businesses, and even, yes, a bunch of islands in the middle of nowhere does play a role in your everyday life. So as citizens, what can we do? A lot of things. Contact your local representative to urge them for quick action on the matter. Join campaigns and conversations, and even registering to vote for the next elections. Every bit counts. At the end of the day, these are our islands. If we let foreigners take it away from us, to what extent are we gonna allow them to abuse and harass us? The fact is, so many heroes have died, fought, and bled for our liberty. Hanggang kailan pa rin tayo magpapaalipin? Ako po si Pablo Joaquin, ang inyong lingkod. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Please register to vote. This was The Breakdown. Now you know.